Hi, I watched Extracurricular and here's my review. The story revolves around 4 high school students mainly. First character is So Minnie, a young girl who sells her body to make money. Second character is her boyfriend, Kwakite, who is the most popular guy in school but also a very big bully. But it focuses more on Hojisu, a young guy who lives alone but is a model student in school and falls into criminality for money. And Yuri, who actually discovers something and becomes his partner. This drama is rated plus 18 for violence, so if you haven't watched it and would want to watch it, I would not advise you to watch it if you're under 18 at all. Okay, so where do I start with this drama? Okay, I absolutely loved it. Of course, since I gave it 9, 2 things mostly kind of bothered me in this drama, but overall it's a really great drama and I haven't heard about it much, so yeah, I don't know if it's that popular of a drama, but it's actually really good, and if you like this kind of genre that is a bit dark and psychological, kind of mixed with a bit of police, I would say, kind of, then you would like this drama, I'm certain. But again, be aware that it's plus 18. So my first impression on this drama was not very good at all. I remember I tried it a while back. I can't even remember when it was, but I tried it before and didn't even finish the first episode because it's, in the first place, not really a genre I like. Usually I'm more or into romance or into psychological but kind of horror psychological, you know, with mental problems and struggles, or just plain horror with monsters and everything. But this one, although it is psychological, it's a bit different. I decided to try it again recently because I had no more drama to watch in my list, and I saw it while I was scrolling Netflix, and I thought, you know, I can try it again. It might not be that bad. First 3 episodes were slow for me. It was difficult to get into the drama again. I would pause very often, but it's not actually a problem with the drama itself. It's really because of my preferences. There's nothing wrong really with the first 3 episodes. They are not slow in any way. However, you can be sure that after, I don't know, I think it was around the end of a 3rd episode or around the first part of episode 4, I can't really remember, but you can be sure that at some point I really got into it and binged the whole thing. It's really addictive of a drama. It's not necessarily very, how do I say this? A lot of things sometimes are kind of predictable and, you know, you're not always surprised in everything, but it's still able to make you stay on the edge of your seat and wanting to see more, and how are they going to do this? How, you know? And even sometimes when you do know how, you're still excited to see it happen. So yeah, even though it's maybe not the most original story out there, and how everything is told in this story is not the most original, it's still able to grab your attention and really keep you invested in the story and the characters. The production of this drama is also very good. The lighting is good, how it's filmed, it's very good too. All the actors are really amazing. I think I only knew 1 or 2 actors, but only a little bit too, not much. But everyone is really doing a very great job in their role. And this OST, the theme song of this drama, the one we hear in the intro and also very often at the end of episodes. This song is so good. Oh, it really has something that grabs your attention and is also addictive, just like the drama. And when you saw the episode with such an opening, wow, it really pumps you up. And also when an episode ends with the music, it really makes you want even more to go for the next one. Concerning the story, for a viewer, it's a bit difficult sometimes because every character in this drama, or almost every character, because I can think of one who is not at all, but almost all characters are in a grey area, you know? They all have some very good and some very bad points, and, you know. The problem is that sometimes it's not that you question your own moral when you watch it, but yeah, at the same time, it kind of makes you root for people who are not doing good things. At least it was the case for me. At some point, I was like, be careful, you're going to get caught doing what you're doing. But he's doing something bad, something that in real life I would never support. It's criminal. So I think by this, the drama does a really, really good job actually, because they make you care about great characters who have very good points, who are endearing sometimes, and you would maybe want to know some of them, especially I think for Jisoo. Jisoo isn't that bad of a guy, honestly. I think is the one I had the most empathy for and could understand the most and felt the most for too. But there's this whole side of him, the other side, that of course is very bad, and you wouldn't want to be near that. You would want the guy to be in prison, and not only him, but other people too in this drama. But when you're watching it, you root for them because they make you care. I think two people I never cared about at all are Kwak-kite, for obvious reasons if you watched this drama, of course, and Baekhyori. Baekhyori is a bit more subtle though, and she actually grew on me. By the end of the drama, I really liked her, but I think it's because every character go through some kind of development throughout the drama, whether it's a big development, a small one, a very subtle one that you don't really notice. But they all go through something, for the worst or for the better. But I think Baekhyori, even though she can, it's a bit like Jisoo, she goes more down and down and down, kind of into darkness in this story. She kind of changes something. There's something changing in her that makes her a lot more likable as the drama goes on, and especially towards the end. But at first, I really didn't like her character. She was just weird to me. I couldn't really understand her motivation. Of course, she has a background, just like Jisoo does, and most people do in this story. She has a very kind of bad background, really. But still, I couldn't understand her motivations really for doing it. She almost seemed at some point like a psycho, kind of. But yeah, she grew on me. If I was to summarize this story, it would be kind of a big fall to hell, really. Okay, in the first place, most characters we really know about are in hell already. They are in a very bad place in the first place. But really, it can get so much more, and they really show you that it can always be worse. If I have a little disappointment still about one of the characters, Lee Wang-chol. His character is kind of so charismatic and really has such an aura and really emits something very powerful and very mysterious. And you actually really get to be very intrigued about this character. You want to know more. We do get a bit of background for him, but it's a bit of a shame that we don't get to know more about this character, because I think most people would have been very curious about him. First thing, I don't really like how So-min kind of put everything, all the blame, on Jisoo. Sure, the very first root of the problem is him. Sure, but in the end, she's the one who created all the problems. Well, he made some mistakes too, like, you know, missing a day of work and not hiding his second phone well enough. So these was mistakes he did, but I mean, if So-min had not decided to still go working, even though everyone had told her not to do it, she wouldn't have ended up with this trauma, and everything that came after would not have come true. So I'm not saying that everything is the fault of So-min, of course not. But the way at the end, how she blames everything on him, I don't know, in the first place, okay, it's not good, but if you try to see the thing from his point of view, then, like he says, he's like an insurance for people doing this kind of job, to have an insurance that nothing bad is going to happen to them while they do it. So, you know, if you see it from his point of view, then it's a good thing, I would say. But yeah, the fact is, he accepted her even though she was a minor, so this, no, it's not right? But in theory, he never forced her to do it either. It was her choice. They come to him or he finds them and tell them, I can give you an insurance that nothing bad is going to happen to you. So, it doesn't make it right and it doesn't make it good, but at the same time, he never went to Somini with a knife under her throat and said, go sell your body. She did it on her own accord because she wanted to gift things to her boyfriend. So it really rubbed me the wrong way that she would really place everything on him when it was really a lot of different things. At the end of the day, sure, it was the first route, but then everyone got involved in it and everyone got part of the problem at some point or another. And I was a bit frustrated about that because I actually kind of wanted Somini and Jisoo to actually kind of become friends at some point. I don't know why. I had this thought that I wanted that. And I thought that she would kind of understand him. But I don't know, she went full crazy. I can understand like trauma and everything, she kind of went crazy, even much more when Mr. Lee died, But he was affected too, she was not the only one. And yeah, I just didn't like how she rubbed it on him the whole time. And how, he was on his knees crying and, begging her that he was going to go to the police, that he was just him, the real problem. And which is actually true. I think it's just because he said it the wrong way. He shouldn't have said that it was just a game for Baekhyori. I don't know what he should have said instead, but he shouldn't have said that. I think, it's really the thing that sent Somini over the edge at this moment. I don't know, Baekhyori is very much an accomplice too, a criminal. But in Somini's case, I would say she's not really invested in it. And also, he had saved her when she had went to work and he had said, no work today. Jisoo went to save her, risking also everything at this moment to save her. So I don't know, I just really didn't like it. And that's the moment when Jisoo really loses himself the most. Of course, he didn't push Minnie down the stairs, but he didn't help either, right? Second thing about the ending, I don't understand why it didn't go with Baekhyori. They don't give an answer. Because clearly now he has no money anymore. He doesn't have his usual normal criminal job to give him a lot of money. So I think at this point when she asks him to come with her, I think I don't really have any chance to go in a good university, or maybe just a university altogether. So I really don't know what makes him stay. And when I read comments, it was also a thing that a lot of people wondered about. It doesn't really make any sense that it wouldn't, especially when he says that it would be nice. And last thing I want to talk about is also the ending, but properly the ending and how it ended. My first reaction when it ended was to be very mad. I'm not gonna lie, very, very, very mad. First, I don't like open endings at all. When I watch or read a story, I want to be told a full story. I don't want to make it to my interpretation. I don't want to decide of the story myself. You wrote the whole story. I've been invested in your whole story the whole time. I want to know how you make the ending, not how I make it. You, when you wrote it, what was your thought on it? I really didn't like it at all, especially since my first thought was they're letting it open for a potential season 2. Someone said that apparently it was the director who said he wanted to finish the drama this way, but I kind of searched for it, I couldn't find anything, and while, I would want to believe that, at the same time, I feel like it's weird, like almost all dramas on Netflix have an open ending. So, while I want to believe that maybe it's true that the director or whoever did the story wanted it to finish this way, it's hard for me to believe because, it just feels like, let's tell the story, but let it open just in case we decide to make a second season. It's too often like that, so of course, very, very mad because it was my thought, and when I saw that it was from 2020 and we're now in 2022, it's bad news, right? And it actually reminded me that there is a drama that I actually quite liked a lot. A Thai drama, The Stranded, that I really liked and ended also with a very open ending, but not even open where you can believe what you want, but with no answer. Really a lot of questions. Like, you can't even imagine because nothing makes sense. You have no kind of basis to decide what's happening. I checked again and it was out in 2019, so I think I can sit on a second season to answer everything. And I'm scared it's going to be the same thing for this. I don't think a second season would be needed. Actually, it would be a bit too much. I think they actually covered a lot of things in that drama about, this fall to hell. So they actually covered a lot of things, and they kind of went to the worst stage possible with Minnie at the end. Even though, yes, it was accidental and she doesn't seem to be dead and everything, they kind of went to the last stage of the worst thing you can do, which is murder. So I don't know what they could add in a second season, except for them running away from the police and trying not to get caught and making a lot more damages while doing so. So I don't think it would be a good idea to have a second season. I think, this drama is just missing one last episode to wrap everything correctly and have a proper ending, but not a full-blown second season. If I want to go with an open ending and kind of decide of how it ends, because I try to think about it still, I don't think they're dead. It seems unlikely. Maybe Kwakite woke up and that's the person they see and he kills both of them, then takes them somewhere. But I don't know. The look on Jesus' face, it didn't look like the look of someone who was seeing danger. Because there's Beccuri right beside him. He reached the point where he's like, go away, I'm gonna die alone. He kind of reached this state of mind, so maybe he wouldn't be surprised to see someone who wants to kill him arrive. But since there's Beccuri who doesn't want to leave, who wants to go with him, I think he would be a lot more alarmed if he saw Kwakite in front of them. But maybe I'm totally wrong and they just did this kind of look just to let the thing really more open. But my first thought was someone coming to help them, although I really have no idea who it could be. My first thought was Mr. Lee, because for some reason I kept believing that he was not really dead. Maybe he really is, but I don't know. For me, it kind of stayed stuck in my mind that he is not dead. So maybe he isn't. I mean, he always wanted to be out of the thing. With Somini, he wanted her to leave him alone. So it could have very well told the police, like, tell I'm dead. It could be very possible. So my first thought was him, but then, he said, let's not meet again. And how would he know where he lives? Wouldn't make sense, really, to be him. But I have no idea. Clearly, it's not the cop. That I didn't like, by the way, since she was always so into the case. She didn't want to leave it. She had this sense that something was wrong, and she was completely right, and she was really doing a very, very good job, if you think about it. A better job than the other policemen, right? But in this drama, since you kind of root for the people, you want her to stop sticking her nose in this and be like a bad cop and not care. So I didn't like her the whole time. Every time I would see her and she would try to get information, she would really piss me off. Since it's a fiction, okay, I commit to my feelings. It's okay, it's just fiction. But in real life, I know I wouldn't be like this. So it's okay, I have a clear mind. But in this drama, but I think that's everything I wanted to say about this drama. Don't hesitate to tell me your thoughts about the ending, if you think it was just kind of Netflix pushing open ending in case they would do a second season, or if you think it was really a choice to be ended this way. And Whatever you think is the ending, if it's really open or not, what are your thoughts on who was there, what happened, if they died, and everything? I would be very curious to know, because I actually went through a lot of comments for this drama, and I was never able to see people kind of discussing or debating who could be the person who arrived in front of Jisoo and Baekhyuri at the end. Maybe, I don't know, most people assumed it was Kwak-kite, I don't know, but I really see no one talking about it, and I don't know, it frustrates me. I want to see what other people think, since I myself don't really have an idea. So yeah, if you have your own little idea, don't hesitate to tell me. And now that's it for me for this drama. Like I said at the beginning, I really loved this drama, and I absolutely recommend it if you're above 18, of course, because it's very violent and it gets a bit bloody and everything. So anyway, that's it for me on this drama, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye!